Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Chicagoland for another season of the I2I Motorsports Nascar Truck Series. Here for the opening round of the season, it's the Tropicana 75, 50 laps from Chicagoland Speedway. This very unique oval, tri-oval as it is, that is never quite straight. Even the back straight turns just a little bit to the left. Home, of course, of NASCAR Cup Series racing for most years in the 2000s up until about COVID time. Is now returning to the calendar again next year. It's great to be along with you back again for another season here at MotorMouth Broadcasting. I'm Ian O'Leary alongside Aidan Howard for this season. And we're kicking it off tonight with the Tropicana 75. They're just a minute and a half or so away from qualifying, which we'll bring you all of. But Aidan, good to be alongside you. Glad to have you on the series. And it's the anticipation at the start of a new season all over again here in the Truck Series. 16 drivers taking to Chicagoland for the first round, which is an odd oval, as I've already been noting. Very, very wide through the turns, which helps racing, and never quite straight either.
No, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one. It's all reset. Points back to zero. It's anyone's game to see who's going to be coming up on top of the timings, and top of the standings as well. Everyone's said reset back to 0 points, so yeah, it'll be a bit of a free-for-all, let's say. Well, not a free-for-all too much, but no doubt people were wanting to put their stamp on things once more. And yes, good evening. I would say good morning to you as well, because it is past midnight for us here in the United Kingdom, but many stateside will say good evening and welcome to this first round here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah. It is early in the morning, but you know it's a normal time for the Americans, so that's fine. It is getting evening time here at the racetrack. 68 Fahrenheit on the racetrack at the moment, and that's probably not going to get much cooler. It can't get much cooler than that, really, and so it's nice track conditions. As far as the race details go for tonight and what we're going to expect, 34 to 36 laps of fuel, so we're told. We'll round it to about 35. Everybody should have to stop at least once. Tyres might be a problem, but everybody has an unlimited amount of tyres anyway, and they have a fast repair as well, so they'll be able to get themselves back onto the right track again if indeed things go a little bit awry early on. In terms of accumulating points, I know we weren't really counting points, to be honest, through the last seasons, because it wasn't really about the championship standings, but Johnny Suggs got the most points and just topped that practice session as well. Qualifying's just begun now, but just topped that practice session a couple of moments ago, and so he's clearly going to be one to watch here. Only won that season by a single point over Kevin Battering, who I can't see in here at the moment. But yeah, very close in last season's championship, and that's always a target to have on your back as well going into the next season. But it's clearly going well, because topping the practice times there. It was a long session, by the way. 3/4 of an hour of practice. Some drivers actually did more laps in that practice session than they'll get in the whole race itself. So we will we'll hopefully see some drivers who are well practiced here. We've certainly got a defending champion who's looking pretty quick out the blocks here.
Yeah, absolutely. So group stage qualifying is underway. Lone qualifying, so they'll be having a track themselves. They're not sharing with anyone else, so they'll have the peace of mind of not having to stumble over each other as they go through this session. But for now, it is, as we see, Daniel Wing to come to the line and will be setting the first representative lap time of 30.6. I think that's going to be quite quickly beaten, judging by some of the practice times that we've seen in the practice prior to the race going ahead. And I can tell you, Jason Rees actually gets up there very much so, 30.4, as he sets the new fastest lap time. Time's coming thick and fast for the qualifying session.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the second lap where it goes faster, so we're going to see some big improvements here as the guys make their way over the line. Jason Reeves sets the benchmark 30.3. Tyler Miller just in behind. Daniel Wing in there as well. Third position for the moment. Trey Greiber to complete his first lap time, as does Joshua Whitmire. Nathan Merrifield moves up to second place. That's the second lap time from him. But we're still waiting for some of the big names to come over the line and actually complete their first time. Johnny Suggs is only on sort of halfway round that first lap at the moment. So still plenty of time in this session. But He is leaving it late. Running up high, you can see there through this opening lap, and it's really going to be that second one where he properly goes for it and goes for pole position.
Yep, absolutely, and he's going to try and get that on top of the timing tower, but unfortunately it is only 8th position for him. It's actually this is 6th. We followed Johnny Suggs around for that lap in the Chevy truck there, and I do believe that is going to be his best lap. Oh, he's going to actually have another shot at it. He's got one more lap to go actually. Purple first part of the circuit. It's quickly demoted to 7th. We'll just stick with it and see if he can get up on to the pole position. Oh, I think almost touching the wall on the outside there as he comes through the final turn. And it's going to be, indeed, the top of the pile.
Only just 4,000ths of a second ahead of Jason Reeves, and another 4,000 back to Nathan Merrifield. So not a big gap at all. But can Brandon Greycraft maybe disrupt that in the 3 car? Or 3 truck, I should say, probably. 6th place on the opening lap, and there you go. Should be pole position for the 3. Braden Craycraft with a 30.3 takes the best time. Michael Dadamo is the only driver left out there on course and does have enough time remaining. This is only the end of lap number 1, so this will be a bit of a warm-up. As you can see, only just in the 30s. Now, one more time to see if Craycraft can be beaten here.
Let's just stick with Michael here as he goes through the lap. Also see Craycraft also go for another lap. It's not improving, unfortunately, pole position as it stands, but not looking to improve that. However, Michael, personal best, only one more turn to go, as such as the short nature of this circuit, and will be starting 7th. Good improvement. Slices his deficit to the top of the field in half, and I think now we'll be starting to wind down after that flying lap.
So only 2 laps available to these guys in qualifying, so Dadamo continues on, but it's only for practice purposes. Just under a 10th away from pole and down in 7th. I mean, over racing is always close in qualifying because the lap times are less than half a minute usually, and they're on less technical laps, of course, than the road courses that we have seen in the past at some occasions. We have got a road course, by the way, coming up later this season as well with Watkins Glen after the new year. But yeah, it's very much a non-technical oval, and it's going to be Braden Craycraft who takes the pole position here tonight at the Tropicana 75. Let's have a look at that starting grid as they get onto the front stretch and line up ready for 50 laps tonight. Braden Craycraft with that late lap time takes pole ahead of James Tate, the only non-American in the field. Johnny Suggs is surprisingly perhaps 3rd, ahead of Jason Reeves only just. Nathan Merrifield and Tyler Miller then on row 3. Michael Dadamo and Daniel Wing share row 4 ahead of Jacob Miller and Chris Hone, who round out the top 10. Just over 3 tenths back, Kevin Baker as well, with Troy Graber alongside. 13th goes to Corey Colfers with Joshua Whitmer alongside row 7. Jonathan Herbert was the final driver to set a time. Ryan Simmons and Ronnie Clark are in here. Hopefully they do start. And they are on the grid at least, so it looks like they will start despite not setting a time in qualifying. So a nice field of 17, and hoping that, it's a little bit smaller than usual. We'll be able to get through a little bit nicer as well. But it's going to be a good race at the front of the field, I feel. So strong throughout last season, but immediately knocked back by that qualifying performance there of Craycraft and Tate, who were both quicker than him at that time round.
Yep, absolutely. So nothing splitting these guys really as we now start off for their first formation lap. The Chevy actual truck will start leading the actual racing trucks around the oval, and they'll just go to a crawling pace, and I'm sure there'll be understarters orders for the first lap of this race, where we will go silent as we just see all the action unfold, and then we'll be back with you on lap 2 just to see how things have unfolded after that first lap of racing.
Yeah, it's nice to hear everything on the opening lap. Just let them get up to speed. These iconic engines in these trucks that have remained, well, in sound terms, roughly similar over the course of the last decade or two. Great to have the truck series back again. All 3 manufacturers represented, by the way, tonight, not least at the front. The front 6 contains 2 of each. It's a very spread field indeed. and a new season indeed of the I2I Motorsports NASCAR Truck Championship here at Chicagoland. We're ready to go in the Tropicana 75 as we're brought up to the green flag by Braden Craycraft. 50 laps at Chicagoland gets underway. Off for fourth for the first time, and it's Braden Craycraft who bring them to the green. Nathan Merrifield has had trouble. He's in trouble. Coming off for four and in through the triangle for the first time. Contact. 14 trucks involved. The 44s around of Ronnie Clark as well. Somehow we're still not under caution. Now we are finally. That took a very, very long time indeed, and that was a minor miracle that it went on for so long. Kevin Baker off the circuit. Joshua Whitmire's had to tow back to pit lane immediately. Also, Chris Hone seems to be involved with Trey Graber as well. We're under caution just at the start of lap number 2.
We're going to get a replay of how that all unfolded. We'll check it in from Chris Hone's point of view as we see it just gets turned on the outside. That white can't quite figure out who that white car was on the outside. The red car of Chris Hone just looks to have been just turns in, tries to go to another part of the oval and just gets tapped around. Unfortunately, causes that collision. And that brings out our first, hopefully not too many cautions, but a first caution nonetheless.
The interesting thing for me there is lots of them coming in, by the way, for damage repair. They do have fast repair, as I mentioned. The interesting thing for me is why Chris Hone was so slow off of 4. He definitely seemed to be, and that seemed to be the start of it for me. Obviously, there was the actual part where everybody gets spun around and where the actual damage is done. But for me, it all starts a little bit earlier down the track than that, just coming off of 4, and it seemed to me that Home was slow there for whatever reason. I couldn't really understand why.
No, neither could I. I'm not sure if he just lifted off trying to find some more space, and just one thing led to another. And I kind of think maybe just a bit of wrong place, wrong time as well for some of those drivers. They're almost 3 or 4 wide, which is never a good concoction for racing, but it can be done if you give each other enough space. But on this occasion, unfortunately, has spawned this first safety car period.
Well, we've not had enough time really to chat too much about the side-by-side racing. We haven't seen any of it yet. Hopefully we do settle into a rhythm of that at some point here later down the track. But yeah, trouble off of 4 for the first time, and it's brought out our first caution of the day. So Chris Hone has had to come into pit lane, perhaps unsurprisingly. Troy Grover has had quite a long damage repair there, and he's already a lap down. So is Kevin Baker. They'll be fighting for the lucky dog. Hone is not a lap down, by the way. Ronnie Clark and Joshua Whitmore are in there for a lot longer. Whitmire, is already 2 laps down, about to be 3, and has been there for over 2 minutes. So not sure why he wouldn't use his fast repair. Clearly his car was really damaged because he didn't even try and drive the truck back. He just towed straight back to pit lane, and that is a sign that he's got a lot of damage, unfortunately. Still though, shouldn't be taking nearly 3 minutes to tow back to pit lane on an oval and get back going again. Shouldn't
be, and especially as you said with that quick repair, should be get the tow time done, get the quick repair done, and it should be back out, and we presumably will be dropping at least 1 lap to the leaders, but with that quick repair should be out back racing in no time, hopefully.
Yeah, it will be next time round, as the drivers will get 2 wide in just a second. There they are. Lights have gone out, so Craycraft is going to get another chance at this, but the difference, I guess, is going to be that Suggs will be on his outside and James Tate will be on the other side, on the inside, their 3rd place. So we do see this at some tracks. I wonder whether the inside line is going to be the one that actually prevails there, and so 3rd place finds it relatively easy to get past 2nd when we're on these restarts.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how that happens. Obviously, the inside line, surely, but being the shorter distance around the oval, is... Yeah, surely it is the quicker way, but that momentum around the outside could also prevail. Keep an eye on how that all unfolds. They about to come back to a restart, I do believe, which seeing if the safety car does pull in or not.
Yeah, it will do. In the pit lane in a second. Just waiting for that moment for Braden Craycraft to be back in the control of this field to get the Tropicana 75 back underway. Just 5 laps complete at Chicagoland, and we are back to green flag racing. Craycraft gets us underway again. It's a nicer start as well from the driver on the outside of him. Johnny Suggs immediately tucks into line in second.
Absolutely, and looking at in the background, looks like it's still mostly two by two, giving each other space, but however, it does look like that good start from Craycraft to get lead and get the move done. Reeves, however, under threat from Wing and Colfers and Dadamo in the background, also and not too far behind, looking to be in a shout, and that is also actually Tyler getting a bit caught up on actually as the top three actually getting away relatively well.
Oh, tight on the outside. That was a really diminishing return on the outside line there for Tyler Miller, who was looking on the outside of James Tate. Also, Reeves going to have to give some space now to Corey Kupfers, who goes right round the outside there nicely through 1 and 2, but that requires cooperation from the driver on the low side to just give you that room up there.
Yep, absolutely. As long as you keep it out of the wall and you're not going to get squeezed into it, then you should be absolutely fine. As going all the way down almost to the apron was Jason in the 75 truck there in the Toyota, trying to find a bit of speed maybe, potentially, but it's actually going to find stuff under threat from Dadamo.
Suggs also under a bit of pressure for second place, by the way, although Tate is not quite alongside him just for the moment. You can see him getting closer. This is side by side, though, a little bit further down back in the pack, and Jason Reeves so far has been losing positions off this start. You wonder whether he's just keeping these tyres back for later or whether he's got serious trouble. Dadamo goes through, and Jacob Miller there nearly makes contact as he goes through.
Yep, absolutely. A bit of a wiggle as they get the turn in. The rear end just dancing around on Reeves' car, and also with Simmons' car just up ahead as well as they went past, but survived to live another lap at the very least, as they are still side by side. The 6 car now on the inside line, going to try and get the move done with that in theory the fast line, but the outside line with the momentum going around the outside actually helps Jason there, and actually gets that move, well, keeps the position in 10th there.
And that might well just stop the rot now, and he can start to try and move on up again. Battle for 11th just behind, meantime, between Herbert, Hone and Merrifield. Hone trying to regain some of these places. Ronnie Clark, by the way, is back out on the racetrack again, thankfully. And so we do still have all of our drivers who started tonight still out there. 3 laps down, though, for Clark down in the back. And now look at Reeves, actually. He's making moves. So it was a case of getting caught up on the outside and freight trains. Now he's overtaking Ryan Simmons. Here comes his response.
Inside line, hugs the white line on the inside. Isn't taken to the apron immediately, as we've seen him do, especially on the start-finish straight, but can't get the move done. Has to tuck back in and wait for another opportunity.
He's going to have to try again, and again was in danger of getting pulled into that group further behind. Meantime, at the front, Braden Craycraft still leads through 11 laps tonight at Chicagoland, ahead of Johnny Suggs and then James Tate, but it's getting very close at the front of the field. Look at Suggs now, turning on the low side through 1 and 2. He's looking low and looking to try and get past the 3 car. Here he comes on the backstretch. Does he push? Does he jump? He's going to jump to the low side. Here he goes for the lead. Braden Craycraft under pressure for the first time really tonight. Johnny Suggs down the inside at almost 1/4 distance already. It's going to be a photo finish by the end of this lap, lap 12, but Craycraft just about leads another lap, and Suggs is putting the pressure on.
Giving each other space and losing 2 different lines. They go back through turn 1. Number 3 almost looking like he's trying to hold the outside, try and get momentum, but isn't working for him. It's allowed Suggs to get into front. 4 in the moment, they're still side by side. 3rd and 4th in the background also going at it as well. It's Miller and Tate side by side with Daniel Wing also having a pretty much a front row seat to both of these battles. And actually Wing now fighting with Tate a little bit.
Yeah, and they could do without that because Suggs and Craycraft are giving them a chance to get involved here, but they're not taking it, although, again, they're not far away. Tyler Miller and Daniel Wing, by the way, have definitely been racing better than they were able to qualify a few moments ago. You just wonder whether that momentum is going to continue for them and whether they can challenge Craycraft now, who's not the one with the momentum here.
No, absolutely. So we'll see how this all unfolds as Wing actually gets a really good drive, darts to the inside. Almost, it's now very much alongside, but almost leaves Miller. It feels like he's just standing still a little bit there going through the start-finish.
Well, it can feel like that on occasion, and the momentum's just not quite going your way. The lights start to really come on here at Chicagoland, by the way. It's pretty dark oval, to be honest, until somebody switches these lights on. Bit wide, min tight for the leader. Johnny Suggs under pressure again from Braden Craycraft, who works to the low side of him. Pretty much side by side as they go over the line. 1/3 distance already, 25 miles complete, still 50 to go here tonight in the Tropicana 75. And Craycraft on the low side is super close. It's door to door with Suggs for the lead.
You couldn't fit a sheet of paper between those two. They were that close. So much pace, almost trading pace and giving each other a bit of a racing stripe along the side of their cars. And they're going at it again as they're giving each other space. Fair space, might I add, but hard racing from them both, and they're just trying to get ahead of one another, and it's actually kind of working for them. There's now a gap between them and third position, with Miller having to fight off Wing and Coffis Jr.
Still side by side for the lead here, door to door between these two trucks at the front. On the inside, Craycraft, is he going to do the slide job? Oh, what a move! He's just about got the space, and Suggs says no. He keeps his nose alongside. He's still there on the outside. What a battle between Craycraft and Suggs, who just continues on that outside to hold firm.
A white puff from the wall. The 15 car makes contact as they go to the start finish, and he's going to go try and get the inside line. Now he has got a nose in the inside line, and he's going to then pull ahead. And Suggs now trading positions seamlessly with each other with Craycraft for that lead. In the background is a third, fourth, fifth and sixth quite close together as well. And we do have a battle happening for 14th and for 12th and 13th, should I say, with car 32 and number 6 and 14th for 11th for that matter as well. However, it is Johnny Suggs that's now dropped behind a little bit now, Craycraft, for that lead battle. So I think that's going to die a death at the moment, at the very least.
Well, this is a battle that looks like it's just going to continue to and fro between these two. Craycraft, though, for the moment, the one who holds the advantage, and the guys for third are not helping themselves to a battle for the lead here. They're battling between themselves for third. Corey Culfers now joins them, by the way. Oh, and in the 82, he looks to the inside of all three of them, but that's not going to work. He's squashing up, can't quite hold the white line as tightly as he'd like to. Tyler Miller forces his wing to give him some room, but he switches back anyway. He goes from the high side to the low side, but there's a lap car in the way, the 44 car of Ronnie Clark, who's maybe coming out of the pit lane again. Indeed he is, just getting back up to speed again, right in front of these guys, maybe halting his momentum. Here comes Kulfers again, looking very good here in this stage of the race, up already 8 places to 5th.
It's a good drive from Kulfers here. He's trying to hunt down that position of 4th, and then as soon as he gets that pass, he's now going to have to try and catch up to the rest of the field. The top 2, as we said, completely broken away. So this is pretty much a battle of best of the rest as it stands.
A little look down the inside from Kulfers, but my goodness, he does look strong. Just wonder what he could have achieved if he qualified a little bit better. The pressure is really on in these sessions at qualifying. There's only 2 laps after all, and only 5 minutes to do it, which means that, yeah, I'll say the pressure is really on. If you get it wrong, you can be back in the pack. It can really hurt you as far as a race result is concerned. Tyler Miller on the high side is able to hold firm though, and Kulfers is going to find this as he gets further up the field. He'll find the overtakes that little bit more difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Kulfers is going to try and go for the outside line. He needs a bit of momentum. However, he's got a now car on the inside of that Tate. James Tate, the Canadian, now on the inside. Is that Tate? I do apologise if that's not correct.
Is the lap car still on new tyres coming back through again?
It is, I would stand correctly, it's a Ronnie Clark 44 lap car. I was getting excited. I thought there was a battle there for position. But that's just Ronnie Clark making his way through. But, as we said, yeah, Kulfers still trying to get past the 18. It's actually trying to maybe use a little bit of the slipstream, briefly darting down to the low side of the circuit to get a toe off the lapped 44. But it isn't really helping him as it stands.
Well, it's going to only last a few laps, really, this for Clark, because it's this new tyre run that he's getting is not going to last that long anyway, and the point at which the crossover is going to be earlier for him than it might be otherwise, because he is a back marker at the moment. So it's going to be a bit of a negotiation again in a moment as he gets close to Daniel Wing. But these guys will be thinking about stopping soon. We're just one lap from half distance in the Tropicana 75. And so far, just the one caution in this race. And hopefully that means green flag pit stops. If it goes another 10 laps, then they'll all need to come down pit lane.
Yep, absolutely. Definitely a pit stop here. And we'd hope, I'm going to say that the drivers, we'd never like to see cautions. But I'm betting the drivers would kind of ideally want one to make a pit stop. But if we get green flag racing, I'm all for it. But I think they're going to be slightly annoyed if they have to make a pit stop in green. It says it's moved to the inside now for the 82. And that is moved done past 18 with the 71 also trying to get involved as well of Tate.
Yeah, so Corey Colfer's in the 82, gets through, and it's Tyler Miller who's overtaken James Tate, who's in third in the group. This is the highest placed battle in the field. As down to the inside, down to the pit lane. Here comes Tyler Miller. He's on the apron, and he's on the apron very early, I might add as well, but maybe that's the way to do it round here. It's always a point of discussion at mile and a half. Slows down quite early for the line, but again, you don't want to be speeding. And so he's seen the advantage that Ronnie Clark has got on new tyres. He's thought, I want a bit of that myself, actually. The drop-off has been a second and a half, to be fair to him, so you'd be silly not to be considering stopping now.
Yep, absolutely. So those tyres were definitely starting to die a death on that truck. So new set of tyres and use that quick repair if you did have any lingering damage. But hopefully see him fight back up through the field whilst the others are still going at this moment in time.
And they all carry on this time round as well. Only Nathan Merrifield responds this time round in the 25 car. So that's interesting to note. This is still the closest battle on the circuit now for fourth place between Colfers and Tate. But you've got to remember, the longer they leave it here, the more time that Miller is spending on his own running fast laps. He's already got the fastest lap of the race. That's before he came in. He's about to get it again, I would imagine, with this pit stop. But I think the others holding out for a caution. They don't want to stop under green if they can avoid it.
No, exactly. If all these pit stops are happening, we're deprived of a battle. The closest battle we have actually is Corfus and Tate here for fourth and fifth. But we're just waiting now for all these pit stops to figure themselves out, basically, and we'll probably get a bit of a pecking order as they happen.
Crawford's coming in. Steady. Oh, that's way too fast. Is he going to make it? Oh, he's going to have to cut it across the grass here. And he's going to carry on. He slides onto the racetrack. Oh, my word. Corey Colford has made a meal of that. He had to commit there, in my opinion. I think he still could have made it, but he didn't think so. And he turned out of the grass there, turned back onto the racetrack. He's got to continue on, but now is the time to stop. Jonathan Herbert, Michael Dadamo, Jacob Miller, Kevin Baker, all into the pit lane. All back out again as well on the racetrack. We're only seeing the top six still going. It's the leaders of the race, who have been leaders for pretty much the whole race, who are still out there. It's holding out for this caution that at the moment just isn't arriving. Kulfer's very nearly created it that time round. He goes onto the apron a bit earlier this time, and he'll get in more safely, but what a moment that was there, as he just felt he couldn't make it down to pit lane.
That was a moment away from disaster. Let's be fair, that he just carried too much speed. That was what it was. And then had to dart to the grass and played a bit of a, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with this truck? I need to keep it pointing in the right direction. Thankfully he does. He's able to find a pit stop, second time of asking, but oh dearie dear me.
That was exceptionally close for him. Still waiting for stops here now. So Colfers is in, so is Reeves and Suggs, but Tyler Miller's going to be leading this race, I would add, or I would argue. Let's wait and see whether that's actually true or not. As Johnny Suggs pulls to a stop now, and he gets up on the right-hand side, then the left-hand side, and gets four new tyres. to come away with. Now, where is Tyler Miller? And where is he going to be in relation to Suggs, who has his 15-second pit stop? There is Miller, whose stop, by the way, was also 14.9. It was 700ths of a second quicker, which is negligible, really. Suggs is going to be on the inside, on the apron here very soon. Here he is, getting up to speed. He can't go up yet onto the banking, so that's really going to hurt him. And there goes Miller. He's going to be leading this race, Tyler Miller. The question over these last 18 laps is going to be, can he hold it over Craycraft and Suggs?
Cool. Awesome. So he's got that move done now. Miller will stay ahead after Suggs' pit stop, and now we await the rest of the field, which are Craycraft, Wing, and Tate, all in the pit box now, doing their pit stops for the race, and they'll be dropping back down the order as Tate's just lost another position. Oh, he's coming out the pits. That's why Tate's dropping down the order. There we go. So that's the first of 3 drivers to do their pit stop. We're just waiting for Craycraft and Wing to finish their pit stops, and then we can take stock of where the cars are and try and figure out some form of order and where drivers are going to come out to be.
And let's see whether Tyler Miller is going to be in front of Craycraft as well. He's quite comprehensively in front of Suggs, but is he going to be in front? Yes, he is. Long story short, Tyler Miller is going to be leading this race by some distance. Where are they? There they are. Suggs, in fact, has gone past Craycraft. So even just 2 laps of an undercut there from Suggs over Craycraft. Look at the gap that it's created. However, Craycraft and Wing, who actually knows to tail themselves, by the way, that's credit to Daniel Wing there. They have got the newest tyres for these last 16 laps, as it's going to be. And we've got an almighty... Oh, hard into the wall! Yellow flag is out! Daniel Wing, who had one of the best shots at winning this race tonight, has gone into the wall hard off of 4, and he's going to be out of contention. Maybe. He's probably still got his faster pair left, so he might still be in contention, bizarrely, but he's caused the second caution of tonight.
Oh my. Just jumped to him. I hate to say commentator's curse, but the car just like it snapped. The rear just said, no, I'm not having this, and I'm going to plough you into the wall. That has brought out the caution, and after all the pit stops now been done, that's going to close up everything for the final 10 laps of this race. 10, 12, if I'm reading correctly.
Should be 12, I think 12, maybe 11, but yeah, not very many. I would argue everybody's got to be in here if you're not Craycraft, because even the couple of laps, the drop-off seems to be massive. I don't remember Chicagoland being like this. The drop-off is massive, and that's what's got Tyler Miller this lead, but he's going to have to give it up. The worst he's going to drop to is 10th if nobody else comes in. I don't think nobody will follow him. He's got unlimited tyre sets, of course, so he can fail to worry about that. I think he'll be in here leading the field on down, and I think he's going to have some followers too. In a moment. Miller's done 10 laps on these tyres, and compared to Craycraft, who's done basically nothing, it's going to be a big difference when they restart. Let's see what Miller decides to do. Does he follow my advice, or does he stay out? Oh, he's staying out, as is most of the field. Now, I think he's setting himself up for failure there, because his tyres are 7 laps older than Craycraft's, and surely they're just going to be eaten alive on this restart.
Just going to see if we can get a replay of what happened to Daniel Wing, and we'll go to a replay. Just going through the final turn here. I can see he just briefly gets... Oh. Well, there wasn't much reaction from the truck though. It was just instantly exit stage right. That's all it was.
We'll see on board if we can get a shot on board to sort of see the wheel work, but I would imagine it just started with that sort of first of all, that new tyre ambition through 3 and 4, which can be quite good, but sort of almost a general slow slide. Just look at the wheel here. He's fighting all the way through the turn. Finally,
he's going.
And there it goes properly. So it was fighting with it the whole way round. It was, right through the middle of the turn even. He was correcting oversteer there, but then he just had to it just got that little bit far away from him. Instead of sliding the car in a controlled manner through 3 and 4, it just got away from him, and overcorrection into the wall hard. And I think he is still oh no, he is a lap down, but he's at least in the race again with a brand new car effectively.
Yep, that quick repair coming to good use. Not used it yet, and that is very fortunate timing for him to use it. But yeah, that we saw on board, we couldn't see it from the spotter camera that we're using on the TV cameras, but we saw that it was kind of counter steering all the way through until that start finish straight, and it just snapped.
Yep. It's
mighty unfortunate.
A little bit unfortunate, yeah. No, I'd say you've got so much ambition when you put those new tyres on that you're sort of driving it really hard. And I actually thought Wing had a great chance of at least finishing second there if it stayed green all the way to the end, maybe even winning. But he's going to have to start from back in the pack now. And goodness me, this is going to be a restart and a half. 12 laps to go. And Tyler Miller here, I think, could be in big trouble.
Yeah, that 7 lap. It doesn't sound like much, but it is definitely enough for Miller to be very much under threat here from his race leads. He's got 3 other cars behind him. Going to be trying to knock on his rear bumper and say, "Come on, I want to get past. I want this race win." You've kind of left yourself out to dry here, and yeah, those tyres aren't going to help his cause in the slightest.
Well, here we go. The pace truck is going to come in with just 12 to go from Chicagoland in the I2I Motorsports Truck Championship this season. The Tropicana 75 going to come to an exciting conclusion. Into the pump and dump restart zone we go, and we're green again. Tyler Miller with a job on his hands, trying to hold back Johnny Suggs and Brayden Craycraft, who already have the traction. Suggs looking for the outside. Is he going to get the space there? He will just about here. Is he going to be able to get right round there with Craycraft on his inside? He's squeezing the 3 truck tight on the inside at 1 and 2. Here comes Craycraft down the backstretch. Suggs is boxed in, and Miller's going to give him the lane, is he? No, he's going to throw the block. He can't block these 2 lanes forever, surely. Outside for Suggs, inside for Craycraft. They might go either side of him. No, Tyler Miller blocks again on the front stretch.
Nothing separating these 3 in the background. P4 as well. Jason Lee's having a good front row seat for this action, and he's going to try and capitalise. There's Tate going very slowly down the apron. There's contact. That's another big incident.
James Tate, 71 in the fence, and finally a caution. Oh, and look at that. Look at when the caution comes out here. Tyler Miller only just hangs on to the lead.
He's going to be thanking his lucky stars at this point. That caution did take a moment to come out, but it has come out, and I think that's going to save him a little bit here. Just depending how long this caution is, he's going to have to potentially fight off these guys once more with very few laps left. It's going to be definitely an interesting battle, to say the least.
It's going to be 6 to go when we go back green here, which gives us space for, well, no more cautions before it becomes 2 laps and green-white checkered attempts territory. So that's what that stage we're at already tonight. It's been a very quick race, I've got to say. A wonderful green flag run through the middle where there were green flag pit stops and a proper tactical battle. But that is going to end with a close race to the finish. You know, I still, as I say, would have come in if I were Tyler Miller under the previous caution. However, I think now he's sort of made his bed, and I think he's got to lie in it. He's got to try and defend. And, you know, he's shown that at least he only did it for a lap and a half there, but he's shown it isn't impossible by any means.
Here's
this
a
is what
crash.
happened to James Tate.
He got tapped. He got tapped by a car. I didn't quite see who it was. And we'll go to another replay. Maybe we get a bit more of a slow motion as we try just to find that replay. And we did indeed find it. We'll just maybe go to a bit of a slower motion on the inside. That is car 88. Who in the world was that? Yeah, Dalaman, as he makes contact and goes, I don't think at this point it's just a passenger. Makes contact with the 6, 23, sends him back up into the wall. The 87 literally gets the car width to squeeze back through. And unfortunately for James Tate, that is a very unfortunate series of events.
It was, and you know, it's unfortunate as well for the likes of Jonathan Herbert, who was in the 6th there, who got caught up in it. Kevin Baker as well, who couldn't really do anything about it. They are taking the advantage, some of those guys down the back, to come in here and effectively take a free set of tyres. If you're down the back anyway, you might as well. Still 10 on the lead lap here, by the way. Not sure who. I think it was Jonathan Herbert, actually. He was given the lucky dog last time round, so he's now back on the lead lap again. But unfortunately, James Tate is off the lead lap, so we haven't gained any lead lap drivers. We've just swapped 1 for 1 there. So it is pretty similar feel to this race at the moment, but still a couple of retirements down the back end. Jacob Miller, unfortunately, disconnected under the previous, or I think maybe even during the restart, unfortunately, which has meant he is out of this race unless he comes in to do some laps towards the finish here a little bit later on. But they're going to be of little consequence. The lights are going to go off on top of the pace truck. We're going to have 7 to go on this restart. Miscalculated earlier. So we're not quite in green-white checkered yet, unless we get a caution in the first lap of this restart. Then we won't be, but if we go longer than that, then we will. And again, another big restart for Tyler Miller, who's shown he can do it. He's just got to do it at least once more.
Yeah, and he's going to be struggling. We saw he was fighting off relatively well, but I just go back to your point again. The old tyres, he didn't take the advantage of the pit stop in the second caution. It's, we'll see how he does. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't put $5 on him winning, but who knows? I have been told I'm wrong before.
I think he's made his bed now, and you know, if this is, you know, one of those ends of the races where there is only 1 or 2 green flag laps each time before a caution comes out, then you don't have the time to make up the places on those newer tyres. So the track position all of a sudden becomes very important. But I just thought we were going to have some long runs towards the end, given what we saw in the middle of this race. But let's see. Tyler Miller bringing them back to the pump and dump restart zone again, and he absolutely jumps this time. Much better jump. Suggs and Craycraft with no response initially, but here they come in towards 1 again.
Got caught sleeping, didn't they, as Tyler takes advantage. Suggs and Craycraft, both of them side by side, 3 and 15, just about holding the lanes, one up high, one slightly down low, and then there we go. See the tyre wear potentially showing as the 15 gives a little bit of a love tap to the back of the 18 as they go through high side, and 18 is going to go very high.
Very high, too high. Tyler Miller's going to lose this lead. He's off his line for the first time pretty much since he was leading this race, and he's going to lose the lead here. Craycraft on the very inside with the best tyres of them all. Johnny Suggs on the outside trying to prevent the 3 truck from taking this race lead, but he's helpless, and Tyler Miller makes a mistake. Now can he respond? He's got to hit hard and fast here, because otherwise he's going to get swallowed up by these newer tyre runners. With 5 to go at the line, Craycraft leads, and look at the charges behind. This could get ugly for Tyler Miller if he doesn't stop the rut here very, very soon and gets a control over this. 5 to go at this moment, and Suggs is challenging for the lead again.
Craycraft is holding that, is keeping the car on the low side. Miller hasn't been dropped. It's good to see he's been able to hang on to the slipstream. However, Reeves in the background now also went to make a move as Suggs now having to defend. So Craycraft are having to defend from Suggs, and 15 as he tries to go to the outside line will then dive back down to the low side, staying in the slipstream, trying to find any way around that car ahead of him, but is unable to do so as well. Miller, however, props to Miller, keeping it there in third. Unfortunately, I think it's starting to get under threat by Reeves a little bit.
Yeah, I think he is starting to feel the effects of everything that's gone on so far. Jason Reeves is right in there. Suggs goes to the outside again of the 3 truck in towards 3 and 4. And entering so low there, Craycraft is not helping himself. Here goes Suggs. He gets to the back of the 3 truck. He gets him loose off of 4. And here comes Johnny Suggs to the outside. He's got his nose in front by the line. 3 to go. Contact between the 2 leaders.
Dear Lord, they are giving it all to try and get this win. A little bit of a love tap. He gets away with it. A wiggle from the truck there, but they're still side by side. They're giving each other just enough space to fight for this race win.
Oh, he doesn't commit on the outside. He thought that Craycraft was going to slide up in front of him, and he might have been right, but Suggs backs out of it. He's got to remember that there's not long left in this race. Only 2 to go, and he's getting desperate now. Gets to he's going to the wall. Trying to open out turn 1 so much he's hit the wall. This is racing hard for the race lead.
Absolutely, it's very limited options to go. 2 more laps to go, not even 2 laps actually, less than 2 laps now, as they go through up into the final turn. And it'll be a white flag next time around.
Or is he going to turn underneath him? Not quite. He's on the outside through 4. Is he hoping for a run to the line like he's had on just one occasion so far? White flag in the air. One more time round here at Chicagoland in a brilliant I2I Motorsports Truck Series opener. from Chicagoland in the Tropicana 75. It's Suggs who's challenging the 3 truck all the way. He's going to duck to the inside. Craycraft left the room open, and Johnny Suggs is going to take that gap inside through 3 and 4, side by side on the last lap. Door to door, they bang wheels, they bang again. Suggs on the inside, Craycraft on the outside. Who gets there? Who gets the win? It's going to be Craycraft by the barest of margins, 100th of a second, if that. Braden Craycraft hangs on in the 3 truck and wins at Chicagoland.
If I ever needed an introduction to oval racing, what? What? That was photo finish. There's nothing between it. 0.01 of a second. Oh my word.
Unbelievable. I think the official gap, 12 thousandths of a second. It's an unbelievably close finish and a great battle, clean battle between the two of them as well.
And the obligatory donuts on the start finish. Brilliant stuff.
Craycraft celebrates the win on opening night in the Tropicana 75. What a victory that was. What a race that was. Fantastic stuff from all of these guys. Not least in terms of the quality of the racing, but the finish there as well. Absolutely extraordinary. After 50 laps tonight at Chicagoland, Braden Craycraft takes the victory. Let's have a look at the final race results before we chat to him. He will be delighted with that, I am sure. Braden Craycraft wins 9,000. See, it gives us different timings, iRacing, all over the place. It's somewhere between 9 thousandths and 12 thousandths. You get the picture. It's quite close. Craycraft beats Suggs only just. And within a second, by the way, Tyler Miller, Jason Reeves, Corey Coulthers were having a great battle amongst themselves as well. Obviously, the one for the lead takes precedence. Michael Dynamo finishes 6th in the end, ahead of Chris Hone, Ryan Simmons, Jonathan Herbert, who was in that group as well. Nathan Merrifield dropped off that group, but used a lucky dog rather late on there to get on the lead lap at least and get a top 10 as a result. Daniel Wing will be disappointed to finish a lap down after his crash to bring out the caution with about 16 to go as he did. Kevin Baker, Joshua Whitmer were 1 lap down as well. Trey Graber and James Tate 2 down each. Ronnie Clark 5 down. Jacob Miller, as I mentioned at the time, disconnected, unfortunately. 13 from the finish. Let's have a chat then to Braden Craycraft, who's our winner tonight in the Truck Series. Congrats, Braden, on the win tonight at Chicagoland. What a race that was, and what a finish between yourself and Johnny. Tell us what you were sort of feeling and thinking through those final 6 laps in that fight.
Well, I mean, that was a great race. Super close finish. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, I just wanted to protect the bottom line because when you have newer tires, you know, that bottom line is where it's at. So I was just driving bottom all the way, even through the back stretch and the front stretch. I just wanted to try to keep him above me instead of below me, but he almost got me there on the back stretch. I'm surprised I was able to keep it to his outside going down the front stretch.
And let's talk a little bit as well about the sort of racing as an entirety there, because we had green flag pit stops at some stage, which it seemed to me you were pretty reluctant to go on and do. You were pretty much the last one to come into pit lane. Was that you waiting for a caution, hoping that you could catch one and not have to pit under green, or was that the plan all along to sort of run that first tank dry and then take tyres quite late?
I usually try to go as late as I can because at a track like this, tires are such an advantage. It also helps to get the caution, but that wasn't what I was looking for. I usually try to pit around 2 laps left in the tank, try to get it as low as possible. Because I also had a pretty decent lead over Johnny. So once Johnny pitted behind me, I was like, well, you know what? I'll just go one more and I'll go in behind him and just hope for the best. And then, of course, the caution came out right after the next lap. So stacked everybody back up and kind of benefited me even more.
Gave us that finish that we very much enjoyed. Congrats and thanks on being a part of it. Congrats on winning tonight at Chicagoland, and thanks again for chatting to us tonight.
Yep, thank you guys so much.
Thanks very much. That's Braden Craycraft, winner tonight at Chicagoland, in front of Johnny Suggs, who finishes second tonight. Johnny, welcome in. Good to have you with us. Commiserations on that battle, but what a fight it was from a neutral perspective for us to watch. What was it like from inside the truck there tonight?
I thought I had him. I chased him down for that little bit. earlier in the race, and I tried to gauge where he was racing at better than me at. And for some reason, I was just a bit slower than him. I tried that last lap was the only lap I finally was able to get up under him because he was right on the inside. But man, it was a good race. I give it to him. He beat me fair and square. But I kind of feel like he's going to be the one that I'm going to be battling for the rest of this year.
I was going to say the rest of this year obviously has a very varied calendar with the Auto Club still to come, which is I guess most comparable to here, but plenty of mile and a half style intermediates, a couple of short tracks, a road course, a super speedway, all in the calendar as well. Do you think this is going to be a battle that you're going to sort of match each other all over those racetracks, or do you think you're going to have strengths and weaknesses among those?
Oh yeah. Mainly road courses for me. I'm pretty good at short tracks, but Daytona's always a toss up to everybody, and it's a wild card type of race, and I'm fast there, and I'm pretty sure that he'll be fast there as well, and it's going to be a battle to the end.
Well, we look forward to it. Congrats and thanks to you for your part in that battle we just watched there for the win here tonight, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end as well.
Oh, thanks, appreciate it.
Thanks very much. That's Johnny Suggs, second place here tonight at Chicagoland. And finally, before we go anywhere, we will chat to the boss, Trey Graber, who finishes tonight in 14th position on the racetrack. Trey, before we talk about anything else, we'll just touch on the race for yourself personally. How was it? You seemed to get caught up in the first caution of the night, and then it was a case of languishing a little bit at the back. How was your race tonight?
Yeah, it's kind of got caught up at, like I said, like you guys said, in that first caution, and just kind of ended up going in and deciding not to use my fast repair, just see how much damage it was, and it was just too much damage to try to fix it without the fast repair. So when I went in under green to fix it with the fast repair, I don't know if it was just the tires that got put on or what, but my car got super tight. So I just kind of had to drive around in the back and deal with an ill handling truck. And finally, when I got a chance, when Daniel snapped loose coming out of turn 3 into turn 4, and it brought out that caution, it allowed me to kind of get some tires on. But the damage of the race had been done. I'd already been too many laps down, so it was just kind of a driving in the middle of the pack and getting on the radio and just making sure the guys kept it clean and stuff. And I think tonight was a really refreshing race, for sure, to come back and start season 2 with. So proud of the guys for that.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about the sort of long run that we got there, especially in the middle of the race. I can't remember when the last time we had green flag pit stops was, and I was just thinking to myself there at the end, that's probably the best I2I race I've seen for some time. Really quite some time. I would definitely say since joining the trucks, whenever that was, a few months ago. How have you sort of read the start of this season now, and looking forward to another 8 rounds on this schedule we've still got to look forward to?
Yeah, when that first caution came out on lap 1 or 2, I was like, okay, how's this going to be? And then the guys got on the radio and was just like, hey, let's give everybody space, let's clean it up. And surprisingly, we did. I say surprisingly because I didn't expect it, but I'm proud of the guys. In fact, they're all up in the lobby waiting on me to head up there and talk to them, which I'll get to that when I'm done with y'all. But yeah, it was definitely refreshing to see that long green flag run. It sucked for me because I was laps down and there was no chance of getting my laps back at that point. But just to kind of drive around and, like I said earlier, just enjoy watching the guys race around each other and give everybody space. And we had a lot of people come over the radio and say, "Hey, I apologize. Like, I'm sorry. I should have gave you more room," or "Hey, that's on me," and just taking accountability and things like that kind of allow me to enjoy racing, that I haven't enjoyed in a while. But we started fresh, created basically a new season, 8-week season, and just moving forward and moving on with the guys that we have, and just kind of I'm glad that Chicagoland was the kind of one of the closest finishes we've had in this league. You don't expect that from a track like Chicagoland, but just proud of Braden and Johnny all night long, keeping it clean with each other and racing hard, but giving each other space. And we saw a lot of that tonight. That was a big thing. It was just I'll keep harping on it, just giving each other respect and space, and proud of them, proud of you guys. Thanks, Aiden, for hopping in and kind of jumping in and taking the reins. Appreciate that.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I know you, and we've had you since the beginning of I2I, and it's been an awesome run having you with us, and hope to keep putting on more shows like this. I think we're going to Phoenix next weekend. That's going to be a fun race, and then we'll end it before the Christmas holiday at Daytona, and just kind of come back from that and get excited for the next 5 weeks and see at the end of this who takes home the trophy.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting next. Well, I'll say eight weeks. Of course, that's wrong because we're having some time off over Christmas, of course. But from now until February 7th, anyway, 8 rounds still to go, and we've kicked off in the best possible way. We'll let you get back to admin things, Trey. I know there's people waiting on you, so we'll let you go. But thanks for chatting to us at the end tonight, and yeah, we'll see you hopefully next week.
See you guys next week.
Thanks very much. That's Trey Grobert on the racetrack, finishes 14th tonight, but of course running things behind the scenes here at I2I, and we'll be very pleased, I would imagine, Aidan, with how that first round went. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that, can you, when you are starting a season like this? Chicagoland, as he mentions there, not especially the circuit you'd expect to see one of the closest finishes this series has ever seen.
I've just seen a photo in the I2I Discord. It is a nose, quite literally a nose between the 3 and 15 car at the line. As I said, if this is the first introduction I have to oval racing, oh my, what in the world have I been missing? It was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And I hope that will encourage you to join us next week from Phoenix. I know it's a different kind of racetrack, but we've got 3 very different kinds of racetrack for you to get a bit of a taste of before Christmas. Next week at Phoenix, as I say, and Daytona the week after that, 50 laps, which is the final one before Christmas. And then we take 2 weeks off before returning January 3rd for Auto Club, Watkins Glen, Charlotte Motor Speedway, Pocono, Martinsville, Homestead, which will end our season on February 7th. It's going to be a great season here in the I2I Motorsports Truck Series. Hope that you'll join us again next week for the next instalment of it. I've been Ian O'Leary alongside Aidan Howard. Until we see you again next week for round 2 from Phoenix, it's goodbye for now.
Goodbye for now.